My grandfather, Harry Berger, is known for inventing the first women's pajama. Yeah, my parents were initially involved in the family business, which was, making tailored clothes in the garment district. And I used to go visit my grandfather and sit on his lap as all the models came in with pajamas that they were showing the new fashion for my grandfather. And I thought that was more interesting than sports at that time. I was like 7. And my brother and I, our first entree into entertainment is during the fashion shows. And my both my parents worked for my grandfather, and the pajamas were called Tommies. My brother and I would put on football outfits or baseball outfits and run up and down the ramp during the intermission of the garment shows, announcing the new fashion line. And that was my first entree into the entertainment business. And my family came from an entrepreneurial, small business sort of philosophy. So they kind of understood it. Um, and, you know, they kind of just let me run. They were, for most of my life, what happened was my grandfather had this business, my parents worked for them, and he sold to a public company. And that public company, the first thing they did was fire my grandfather and fire my parents and control all the patents. And we were very poor in high school, which takes back to the beginning of why I didn't want to give $100 to the scholarship fund. But the honest answer is my parents were just trying to make it themselves, and they were just happy that I was doing something. It wasn't that deep in my family. They weren't. We didn't have heart to hearts about the pros and cons of the entertainment business. At one point, my dad was selling plastic flowers on this to neighbors and stuff. So it was more about, good luck. But, I found out, and I didn't think they were that interested in my career, really, when I worked in Hollywood, because, and they were terrific, but they were just really busy trying to like keep afloat. But I found out after my dad passed, my brother and I went through all of these things, and he kept newspaper clippings of the New York Times of every movie I made and everything I did, stories in Variety. He must have gone down to the newsstands to get the trades, and he didn't have a lot of money. And he had a story if I announced a movie, story if I took over a job. He had kept all that. He never told me. So I mean that says to me, his heart was in the right place, and my mother too.